Hello, everyone. I am Claudiu Murgan, the host of the Spiritual Inspired podcast, and welcome back to the show. Please leave a comment, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, go to spiritualinspired.ca. Yes, today are April and Jay Mata. Thank you very much for joining me, guys.
Hey, how are you,
An
brother?
honor.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, it's been a while. So let's have an interesting discussion about everything you do. You are entrepreneurs. First of all, you launched Spiritually Raw. You have GnosticTV. You wrote some ebooks. But I would like to start with asking you, when you guys got together, were you on the spiritual path?
Yeah,
You want me to take that
Yeah.
one? Claudio, I think, again, thank you so much for inviting us. We're super excited to be here with you. I think we've always really, Jay and I, have been on the spiritual path since, day one. And we always have been on the search. It was just a matter of finding the right people to help get you to where you wanted to go. And I think when we came together, we're so much in common. And you finally meet, whether it's your twin flame or your soulmate, but someone that you feel like you can resonate vibrationally, spiritually with, is a great thing. And then from there, you can really start to explore that area of your life.
And do you feel that you kind of grew together spiritually and you had experiences that really enrich your life?
Absolutely. That's actually why we started Spiritually Raw, because we had, and we still to this day have extraordinary experiences. And at the time, this is going back over 10 years ago, we had a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. So that's really why we started Spiritually Raw. We needed to understand what was going on in our own life. And hopefully, people that were expert in these areas would be able to help us out.
Interesting. And Jay, what are your favorite subjects when you interview your guests?
Wow, that's it's really the mysteries of life. It's understanding what gets one through the next day, what gets them to wake up inspired, what gets them to continue to go on the search. And really those are that. And they really vary, quite frankly, from everything. So, what we did learn over, or when we continue to learn over having a lot of these interviews, is that we don't lose sight that everybody has their own stream of consciousness and it's unique to them. So we want to know, we're all, as a human, as a spirit, I guess, if you're having a human experience, it's really intriguing to know that. So any one particular topic, I would say for me, it's really, again, just learning what it takes to, like, what gets you through the day, what gets you inspired, what gets you to keep going, and what gets you to live life to the fullest and nonstop. Those are my favorite topics.
Yes, and I think this is the silver lining in what I do also, because they come up with interesting stories. Some of them have commonalities, some are totally different. And it's interesting that I learn every single time I have an interview. Doesn't matter if they do Akashic Records reading, if they do tarot cards reading, or they are hypnotists or shamans. I learn every single time, and
Yeah.
I'm happy that I can bring that knowledge onto my next interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what happens. It just kind of, you're right, it forwards over to your next interview.
I think doing interviews, getting interviews and being interviewed compresses time. It compresses your learning curve tremendously. We've read, not Jay, but I've read a lot of books. Because you really don't read books really ever. But I went through a huge phase where I read every book I could possibly get my hand on. And then, people would always send us books. So we had a huge library of books. To read all those books takes a lot of time. But to have an interview, 30 minutes, and you gain a tremendous amount of knowledge. So we were able to compress time. And over the years, I've lost count, but we're well over 2,500 interviews at this point.
Wow, no, I'm not even close. But talking about books, I just read something from Robin Sharma, and he is a bookworm like me and you. And he said, I always buy more books that I will be able to read in this lifetime. but I know that at some point I might just open it up for 10 minutes, read a passage which will enrich my life, and I will leave the library to my kids. So again, I have that bookworm in me as well. I buy more books that I will ever be able to read, but it's that pleasure of filling the book and opening up that chapter whenever I feel like it.
That's nice.
Exactly.
And also, it's nice from time to time to be on the other side of the mic. Like 3 weeks ago, I've been interviewed on Conscious Business channel, and I really enjoy it. And then I had the host of that channel interviewed as well, and it was a totally different topic and vibe, because she's much more spiritually connected than me. And we had a blast through what she had to say. And in this instance with you, you are on the other side of the mic being interviewed and be able to express what you feel.
Yeah, it's
a nice change. Really.
It is a nice change. It's almost like you kind of it's relaxing, right? It's like,
just have a good time.
You're not thinking so hard.
Right.
Yes, because on your case and my case, we really have to prepare for our guests, and it takes 2-3 hours, sometimes even more, if we really want to read a book or two.
Sure.
And as you said, the interview is 30, 40, 50 minutes, but then the prep time, it's even longer than the interview itself.
Absolutely. I learned a lot during the prep time. I learned a tremendous amount of information during the prep time, which is really kind of cool too.
Yes. And did you guys have any spiritual upbringing through the family? I know that the common ground of my guests are, Catholic upbringing or whatever, and they had some religious scars which they carried throughout their lives. Was the same instance with you?
I grew up Roman Catholic. I went baptism, communion, confirmation. And then after the confirmation, which is 6th grade, I said, I'm done. I'm not going to any more classes. I'm finished. And my parents gave in and they said, fine. So, yeah. And then from there, I mean, it was never, my parents weren't really ever strict about it. They always made us go. They never went, but they always made us go every Sunday until my confirmation. And then from that point, I just really dabbled in a lot of anything that I could really get my hands on at that time. I switched religions, if you would, like as much as I would change my hat. Like one day I was Catholic, then I'd be Jewish, then I was Protestant. I went through the whole realm of religions. And but what I found out, the best one is your own religion, right? It's going within and just finding your own self and becoming peace with, within. And that's really the best that I have found.
I would say for me, nothing really remarkable. I mean, my heritage is from India, so, we did traditional things, but nothing that was from our parents was ever imposed upon us as like, oh, you have to do this or you have to do this. So there was no real like taintness, if you would. And so for, it was just really but it was fascinating exploring it, just growing up with different people and friends and understanding what they went through. So it was very fascinating for me just in general, just to really, again, explore like, well, why do you believe this? What does that even mean? And, and like, April, just, one day being, Hindu by birth, I guess, then, okay, well, maybe I'll be born again, or, okay, well, New Age. Okay, Buddhist sounds pretty good. The Gnostic thing sounds pretty good. That sounds a lot like me. Maybe I'm a galactic person too. So you just go through these different things. And I think that's the thing for, I'm having, at a personal level, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I don't really concrete or define it, but whatever I feel in that moment, it's all universe, right? So, I mean, we're all of it and we're nothing at the same time.
Yeah. And I can tie both your stories into a nice bow with me mentioning the Indian movie PK. I don't know if you watch it, but he's an extraterrestrial landing in India, and he loses his device, which he can communicate with the spaceship. And then everyone said, "Pray to God, and the God will give you the device." And then he's going to every single religion, praying to God to bring him back the device. And in the end, he reaches the same conclusion as you reached, Jay, and that you have to go inside. This is what you you need, and no one else will bring it from outside. And it's a beautiful movie. I watched it twice already. And that's great because again, you mentioned your both backgrounds, and this ties nicely into this type of movie. And Jay, did you go back to India, back to your roots? Did you follow any of your ancestral lineage?
Yeah, a couple of times we went together and just went on there. It's I would say if you it was nice to see. And but if you doubt the presence of a god or something, then I would say go to India, because that's a whole other experience. It's a whole other energy. It's like you could see the spirits as if we're seeing like that. We saw spirits like clear as day. Everybody's blessing you. All the time. I mean, there's so much spiritual energy in there. It just is so profound. I mean, everywhere you go, you walk into someone's business, they bless you. You walk into someone's house, they bless you. Different fates are going on all at the same time. It's just a flow of energy.
It's everywhere. The God source energy is absolutely everywhere.
Absolutely. I mean,
in India.
Yeah, I really believe it would.
And there's always incense burning.
Always.
So you have the incense burning, and then you have people that bless you. Strangers come up to you and bless you. And what I think is really beautiful, every business before they start, they do a blessing and a puja outside their store.
Yeah.
And so that permeates all throughout the air. And I mean, it's just magnetic.
Yeah. Like I said, if you doubt the essence of any type of source or God, then I would say go to India.
Yes, there is the next Kumbh Mela will be in 2025, and this is an event on my bucket list. And I hope, I pray that I have the means and the availability to go with an organized group, with someone who knows the locale, and will allow me to join them, because that's an amazing experience.
It's a life-changing.
It is. It's life-altering.
Yeah, it's definitely life-changing. It's like a plant medicine ride without plant medicine, I guess.
Yes, yeah, and it's huge. It's huge, and as you said, that prayer will permeate the air and everything around it. So
yeah, for sure.
You guys discuss very controversial subjects during your interviews. So how do you see the world around us? They push transhumanity on us, and that means we're going to lose our feelings, potentially our soul, our spirituality. How do you perceive this change?
I'll take it first, and you, we don't. we don't perceive it, actually. We don't perceive it in the sense that we are very aware of what is going on in the world, because we report on it, right? We interview on it, but we do not feed into the energy of it. And so as long as and there's a very fine line, and there's a balance there. And, that doesn't happen overnight, because, there was a period where I would throw all of my emotions into what was going on, and it affects you. And then you realize one day, I can't do this. There's just no way I can't function. So I step back from everything and realize, what, let me just view it. Let me just, see it from a different perspective. So I am very aware of it, but I don't emotionally get attached to the outcome. What I get attached to the outcome is our own outcome.
Right.
What is going on in our own world? Because what I have found is that's all that really matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's the president of your country. It doesn't matter who's in Congress. It doesn't matter, who's doing this or who's doing that. It matters if you allow it to affect you. Yes, then it will matter. But if you stay focused on what's important, which is you, your life, your family, your children, your spouse, then everything else around you works out.
Yeah.
It's the energy that you create from within is going to affect the outer world. So if you are, emotionally tied to everything and all this destruction and everything that's going on in the world, you're going to be a mess.
Yes.
You're going to collapse real quick. So just step back from it and be aware. And then people say, well, how can I help? And what I have found is the best way to help is making yourself strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If your mind is strong and your mindset is strong and your body is healthy, and you are exuding a high vibration and a love frequency, that is how you heal what's going on the other side of the world. That's how you heal what's going on within your own neighborhood. It's by raising your own vibration and keeping your frequency high.
Yeah, and if you feel like someone or something's doing something to us, then they are. If you feel like they're not, then they're not. I mean, it really for us has come down to that conclusion. It's energy, right? So if we feed the energy then manifests. If we don't feed the energy, it won't manifest. It's really pragmatically become that way for us.
Yeah, it's really a matter of, do you want to feed the beast?
Yeah. I mean, like we understand. I mean, we're not naive to the fact that there's things going on in the world that probably shouldn't be going on or less than desirable. But we also have to make a choice of like, well, do we live that? Is it our fight to fight? You know what I mean? Is it our legacy to do that, or do we just, or are we here? Does the possibility exist that we are really source incarnate and we're supposed to enjoy the hell out of this and experience all these different things, and not so much what happens, but how do we react to it so we can continually grow at that level, you know? So we at this stage of our lives are choosing that direction. If you interview us tomorrow, maybe a different answer, but I don't know. But as of today, right now, that's the answer. You know?
Yes, I mean, you are applying the quantum bylaws at their best and envisioning what you want to live. And I agree that we are source incarnated, and we have to enjoy what we have, what we've been offered. And there are different constraints which we have to push back. But other than that, I agree that we can create our own reality, and we have to manifest. And if we want to go deeper, I also know that you are big into manifesting. Let's expand on that, please.
Yeah, so manifestation for us is been it's an everyday. We deep dive into it pretty much in all of our waking hours,
yeah.
right? Would you say?
It's part of our life.
It's just our life. So
Yeah.
we for us, it's kind of like what kind of the tag onto what we just spoke about. It's our way of just exploring. Well, you know, everybody says, well, you can co-create or you're part of creation. So we're like, you know, let's test it. Let's test it and let's give it a go, right? And so that's what we do. We continually test it. We think in terms of manifestation and we say, okay, well, you say you apply it this way, so that's what we do. And then we say, okay, then we learn and we tweak things along the way. And really, we've been able to really validate in our own lives that manifestation is an absolute real thing. And it takes constant going and flowing. You manifest all day long. You just don't sit in for, if you want something out of life, for example, well, you just don't say, okay, well, let me do a quick morning prayer on my knees and, you know, for 30 seconds and, you know, and then that's it. Or maybe the full moon showed up really quick and do it real quick for 45 minutes and light a candle and do that and manifestation's done and leave it up to the universe. My experience, I think both of us probably agree, it doesn't really work out that way. It is you the intent and then the action goes with it. The intent, so you get the intent, like whatever it is you're wanting or your desire, if you would, and then you now start to move into action. For example, if you want to live somewhere, you put the intent and you start to visit that place frequently. If you want more money, you put the intent and you start to surround yourself with people that are making the kind of money you want. This is how manifestation happens, and then we see evidence of that doing it that way. I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. And it's mindset. I think everything is mindset. That's the foundation for a healthy lifestyle. It's the foundation for a wealthy lifestyle. And it's the foundation for bringing your manifestations into creation, into reality. You have to believe. The first thing is the most important, I would say, is you have to believe that you are worthy of receiving. And I think, Claudio, a lot of people get tripped up on that because they doubt themselves.
Right.
Or they have had programming, parental program, you know, you're nothing, or, you know, money doesn't grow on trees and you have to work hard. So if people are still in that programming, you know, because it takes a lot of going within to get rid of all that programming, right? It's been in you for a long time. So if you still have a type of programming, you're going to manifest things, certainly, but are you going to manifest all the desires that you want? And are you going to manifest them at lightning, goddess speed? That's the difference. So Jay and I, we don't like the slow plan. Okay. We're definitely on the let's do it quick plan. So what we've done throughout the years is refine what's worked and let go, release what doesn't work. And then we just keep refining it and refining it and refining and refining it. And again, it goes back to your mindset, your frequency, and your vibration. So the more throughout the day that you keep yourself at a high frequency and a high vibration, be it your mindset, the quicker these manifestations are going to start rolling into your life. It's when you start doubting yourself. It's when you start doubting the universe, when you lose faith, because it maybe something didn't come the way you expected it, or the how, or the timing. And then you're like, this sucks, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's going to slow your manifestation. You just put the brakes on your manifestations. You got to go in with unwavering faith and believing in yourself.
Yeah, and I think that for us too, we've also realized that, you know, we are grateful for our connection to source, but we are also very realized that there's nobody giving us anything or not taking away anything that we don't control. You know what I mean? So there's nobody there's nobody to, and I don't want to diminish faith here, but there's nobody to pray to. There's nobody or nothing to, you know, say, why did you do this to me? You know what I mean? Or there's none of that. There just is. It's just a we're it. So, I mean, that's the only way we can see that. That's the only evidence we can see, is that we're in control of those goods, bads, or indifferent. And so we focus on the goods and we start to see more of the goods. And it again shows as evidence, well, that seems to be working. You know what I mean? The other stuff doesn't seem to be working. So let's not do that. And then, so
gratitude is a massive part of it as well. Mindset, gratitude. I am throughout from the moment I get up until, you know, I'm totally asleep. I'm just always showing gratitude, whether it's to someone verbally or if it's in my head. And we live in Florida. We literally live in paradise. So it's impossible to wake up and you're like, I don't like it here. You know, you got palm trees and sunshine and water. What's not to love? So you go outside in the morning and you're smelling the fresh air, and it never gets old for Jay and I. We've lived in South Florida for, I've been here over 30 years. Jay grew up here. It never gets old. We love it. So, and when you love it, you're just so grateful to be in this environment. And there's so much to give gratitude for.
And respect of the fellow human spirit. I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, when you learn to respect the fact that we are regardless of what we look like, you know, whatever, we all very possible are really truly interconnected by this big whatever. So we have to really acknowledge that to some degree by, you know, I'm not saying that we have to always, you know, absolutely eternally love and want to hang out with everybody, but we do have to honor their ways of lives and their existence. And when you do that, again, these are little things that we do that we see that it does make a big difference in the art of manifestation, because when you respect someone, even for that be a second, you'll start to see things, gratitude, you'll start to see things unfold in your life. So, you know, it's mindset. It really is. It does get back to that mindset. It's just how you think about it and what brings you peace through life. And when you're at a very peaceful, aligned state, your alignment with the universe is there. And then when your alignment with the universe is there, then your thoughts do manifest a lot quicker.
Yes, I love your approach to life and the way of being in this world. And I will add something else, which pretty much it's common sense. In order for the manifestation to come fast, and has to be positive, it has to be towards the betterment of humanity. And even if it's for your own good, in a way will affect your community and your family. So it has to be, again, on the positive side.
Right. Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, it does, but negative thoughts can manifest equally as fast. And so, you know, this is why it's important to actually they manifest quicker.
Right.
It's a lot quicker to manifest low vibrational energy than it is to keep yourself in a high frequency. So you got to be really careful.
Yeah.
That's why, we're advocates of, controlling the mind and keeping yourself high and happy, and because those lower vibrations are much closer to the earth plane,
Mhm.
and it's a lot quicker and easier to manifest lower vibrational requests, let's say.
Yeah, much more dangerous.
It is more
really is more
dangerous.
dangerous.
It's a lot more dangerous, and they're so, they're the veil is so thin, especially now, that it doesn't take much to connect to that low vibrational energy. All you have to do is flip that switch from being ungrateful, from being very, very grateful, to just being angry.
Yeah.
It only takes a nanosecond to go from high to low. And it's very easy to stay in a low vibration, because there's lots of people that, they love to kibitz. People that are in low vibration. How's your day? My day sucks. My day sucks too. What happened to you? Let me tell you what happened to me. Right. And that can just go on and on.
That
and
is
on. And then you're trapped in that
Yeah.
cycle of negativity. And next thing you know, you're like, well, why are my manifestations? Why isn't it working for me? Well, look at what's happening here.
And a lot of that is people, we don't watch the news. We are very careful of our surroundings, who we align ourselves with. Again, we bless and love everybody on their journey, but as far as our
Circle.
inner circle, let's call it, if you would, our people we work with, talk with, it's either we're a vibrational match or we're not. And if we're not, it's okay. You have vibrational matches, and we wish you well on your life's journey. But you have to be very, in today's world, I would say it's good to, make your decision swiftly. The
Be
best,
selective.
yeah, the best thing you can do in today's world, I would say, is to get resolved very quickly. And that could be, like you said, it's you don't want to be, I can't pay my rent club, part of that, or I'm broke club. You don't want to be part of that, because there's 1,000,001 followers in that. And everybody, think about the crazy reverse manifestation that's going in these kind of groups, that everybody's against this club. And next thing you know, everybody's against you club, because you all manifested it. So it is real. These are not, so everything is real. If you feel like, we are they're out to get us, and you're part of that club, then they're out to get you. It's true. And it's okay. And I'm not even being funny about it. It's just what you manifested. We have just chosen not to be part of any club like that, and just said, we're in the, hey, listen, let's be healthy, wealthy, and fantastically abundant club. Let's find out those. And that's really what we choose to do. You know what I mean? And again, it's not being naive. It's a matter of living life to the fullest and being there and responsible for the ones that rely upon you the most.
Yes. And talking about being abundant, I saw your term 5D economy. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I assume that you are the first one. Let's expand on that, please.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
You heard it, everybody on this show. You see that? Don't try it, anybody. Right, we were the first.
I actually came up with that one day when we were walking down the street, because I was trying to put together, like, explaining what do we do? We help other people prosper. Well, let's backtrack that one, and then we came up with the 5D economy, which is literally creating abundance by helping others create abundance, and that's really the way it's always been meant to be. And when you take on that philosophy, it's very easy to create wealth.
So an example of that would be like this. So to move past the theory of that, an example would be, let's say, for example, like we have, we're in the media business, right? So let's say, for example, we want to talk to someone about, maybe a product, or maybe becoming part of our network, or we want to do some business with them. So our first line of defense in the 5D economy, our thought process is not this. It's not, hey, look at what look at our bright new shiny object. We we connect with the person, but it's very important for us to understand what their vision is, because you see, what our vision is important to us, and we're entitled to that vision, but so are you. So we have to, in turn, and where a lot of people a lot of people make the mistake when they're building relationships or doing anything. They're saying, well, look at my product. Look at how much you can make with my product. Look at how much what you can do with mine. And they don't really, so they start to very unconsciously put their values on the other person, where with the 5D economy, bless you,
Thank
with
you.
the 5D economy, it's saying, well, wait a minute, we are now having an opportunity to connect. So tell me what's important to you and let me see, can I help you with what your dreams are? And then along the way, you now, because we're getting that relationship, you say, I'm going to help you with your dreams. That's the 5D economy. It's truly understanding what it is that other person's superpower is, and not putting your values on anyone just for the sake of you can make all of this. Everybody's got their, we all came with a purpose, and our purposes, I don't believe, are exactly the same. So we need to understand what each other's purposes are, what our life's missions are. And I think if you can do that, then you create what's called a 5D economy, which is creating abundance by helping other people become abundant.
Yeah, so it's pretty much reciprocity on everything you do. From
Very
this
much reciprocity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the perfect word.
It's just 5D economy sounds better than reciprocity economy.
Yeah, it's shorter and much more impactful, that's for sure. And what are the, let's say, the businesses or the products that you started with using this approach?
Well,
It's really always been our approach. We just never were able to give it a name.
yeah, it's always been our approach like that. But I would say, so speaking of what are the business and the products, one of the things we talk about is that we're the product. I mean, if you think about it, you're the product, right? So when you introduce a guest or you introduce anything, the people never so much say, well, I want that product. They're like, well, how did these people make me feel about listening to it? How did these people make me feel by watching it? So what we have determined is ultimately at the end of the day, we are the product. These are just tangible things, you can touch them, they'll break, they'll go away, they'll, whatever, but they're not there. We ultimately are the product. So we've learned that it's our energy.
And then it doesn't really matter if you're selling a book or
Right.
a product or, a house, a car. People are going to gravitate towards you and want to purchase from you when they know you, they like you, and they trust you.
Right. So that's what it is. So so we're very much about that. And when we do our work with a lot of people, just in our background in sales and marketing, if you would, business, we really help instill that to them and say that'll be your competitive edge if you learn that you're the product, not the product.
Yes. And why did you start the GnosticTV? What was the purpose of it?
Well,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Really rolls into what we were talking about throughout the years. Again, we've done, a few thousand interviews, and we've made the most phenomenal connections and relationships, as you know, right? This is how we met.
We're sitting here, right?
Yep.
And they're priceless. And throughout the years, we've built relationships with many people. And when a few years ago, when which a lot of people remember, there was a big censorship going on in social media, and a lot of our work, people that we communicate with, broadcasters, a lot of them were losing their channels like we did. We lost a lot of our social media, and during the process of that, we took it off of social media and we built our own platform. And then, so we moved Spiritually Raw kind of out of social media for a while and onto our own platform, which was at the time Spiritually Raw. But then we thought about it, and we had this platform built, and other people that we knew, broadcasters, were losing their channels. And we said, hey, you know what? Why don't we just start a network? So we created the GnosticTV network, Ancient Wisdoms Reimagined, and we moved Spiritually Raw under the umbrella of it, along with a host of phenomenal broadcasters, YouTubers from all walks of life.
We're having events that are going to be on there. We're going to actually do audio books, music, kind of thing like that. It's really going to be a full, it's about people just getting their message out,
Yes, I mean, we need these type of platforms, and there are many out there, and I think each market segment has going to geared towards one of these platforms, and that's great. The more the merrier. I don't see it as competition. I see it as being complementary.
Yeah, that's how we see it too. 100%.
Thank you. Yes.
Jay, I have a very tough question for you. What's the meaning of your tattoos?
You know what? It's so interesting there. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I said, I hope he doesn't ask me what the meaning of tattoos are. I swear to you, I was just having this conversation in my head just before you asked that. So I'm going to do this because I feel like this is fair. I'm going to defer them to my wife because my wife picks my tattoos for me. So would you like to tell him what you picked for me?
Yes. They're all spiritual and spiritually inspired. And of course, Jay, as you mentioned, he grew up Hindu, and a lot of them, they all reflect the religion of Shakti and Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. And, somebody said something, and I never thought about it the other day. And I was like, you know what? You're right about that. They said when you have a tattoo on your body, it's a tattoo that you've had in a past life. And I thought, that does make sense. I could see that. So basically, in a nutshell, they're just all very spiritually based, and they come from a very loving place.
They're symbolic,
They're
and
symbolic.
they are, but in a sense, they're my armor of God, if you would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the feeling I get. You know,
Yes, because some guests, when they come with the tattoos on display, I have to ask them, and some are so willing to share, and they say my left arm is my spiritual arm, where my spiritual tattoos are. My right hand is for entertainment, and I have
That's
different types.
awesome.
Yes. And then I ask them, what are you going to do on your back real estate? And they say, okay, I'm going to have a big dragon, or, something like that. So it's interesting to see their mindset.
Absolutely.
And because you guys are so open-minded, and you are willing to try new things, have you ever tried sacred plant medicine?
Yeah.
Yes.
We actually spent we actually, not even thinking about it, we did shows on plant medicine, and we probably, maybe at some level, we were actually interviewing about it for our own purposes. We were asking like these very crazy questions. But anyway, long story short, fast forward in that, we ended up doing
Mushrooms.
mushroom psilocybin. And
It was a very organized. We had a sitter, we had a shaman come over. So it was very, very organized. It wasn't just like, oh, let's chomp on some mushrooms and see what happens.
no, it wasn't that at all. No, someone was there, they sit with you.
They
It
were
was
trying to make sure you didn't go off the ledge.
it was a proper spiritual event, if
Yeah,
you
it was
would.
really awesome. It was
and
the best experience
yeah.
ever.
And but I would say if people are ready for it, I mean, it would probably, I mean, it wasn't something. If you would have asked, let's say 5 years ago, do you want to do mushrooms? I said no. You know what I mean? It's just, for at a personal level, I would say it was just like, yeah, there's now, it's like you feel like you feel like something's happening. There's a movement in your life, and you need to connect and really understand what that is. And at some point in time, you look around and you're like, you just have to go deeper for the answers. And what for us it allowed us to do was to, well, when we took it, after we gone through the experience, the realization was it was just almost, it was impossible to judge anything, because you see the whole aspect of how intertwined we are, and that you are really part of creation at that level. So it was a beautiful experience to see. I believe every business person that feels like they might, need clarity, any human being, I would say, that maybe needs some clarity or block, and maybe explore it to some degree. I would, explore some I know
In a
there's
professional
in
setting.
I would do it in a
Yeah.
professional setting. I wouldn't go to a bar or a nightclub with it. But I would say, yeah, definitely explore and see what it makes, because it does take, and you don't come out like a hangover or nothing. You know what I mean? It's not like that. But just, yeah, I would say that people should look at it if they feel blocked. It unblocks you. It's a hell of a roto-rooter.
Yeah. And do you think now are you ready for something much stronger like ayahuasca, or not?
No.
I never thought I wanted to ever do ayahuasca ever. I never had any kind of, I was always like, oh, I don't want to go that far. But ironically, one of our good friends, they just got back from Peru this week. And she had the most amazing experience ever. And I saw all the pictures of Peru. I thought, geez, it does look like a good time. But
Yeah.
if I never did it, I'd be okay, because of the experience that we had with the mushrooms was, for me, the ultimate experience. I had the quintessential Alice in Wonderland experience, and I left my body. So, you know, and it was just magical. I can't imagine how anything could be much better than the experience that I had.
I mean, I would say never.
Yeah.
But I mean, the feeling we got out of what our experience was with this particular thing was we did feel that essence of source.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it was validation that that's not in, you know what I mean? There's something there. You know what I mean? And it was like the animals. I mean, it was just a beautiful experience. So, you know, it's more of knowing that, hey, like you got it. It's like you can't sit in meditation long enough to get that feeling. You know what I mean?
You'd have to meditate.
It wouldn't work. You couldn't do. I mean, people sit.
For the
I would
rest of your life.
imagine these people sit in these caves in, you know, Tibet for years, and you know, in about 30 minutes, you know, I mean, there you go. That saves a lot of time. You know, that's what
Yes,
I would
I
say.
mean, and especially if you get comfortable with mushrooms, all you have to do is increase the dosage, and the experience will go deeper and deeper, up to the level where you are comfortable with. So
Yeah, 100%. And
Exactly.
you just go to it. I mean, you know, but I would say, yeah, I would say I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. Would we do it again? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on the thing. But I mean, there's no like, oh, I can't wait for the next level of it kind of thing like that. But I feel like, you know, there was pretty cool
Yeah.
stuff we saw in the moment, you know?
Mhm.
and your statement is great because we'll debunk the myth that plant medicine or sacred plant medicine is addictive, which is not. It's not
No.
a drug. So
No
people
way.
like to call them a drug, but they are not drugs. They are just plants, sacred plants, and you can do it once in your life, and that's it. There is no addiction.
No.
I mean, even the cocoa, the
The cacao ceremony, yeah?
cacao, but the cocoa leaves that
Yeah.
they produce cocaine from.
Right,
Yes.
right.
I mean, the Koji tribe in northern Colombia, they chew on these leaves all day long,
Yeah.
and they don't get high. It's a source of nutrition. Only when you take these leaves and you start applying a chemical process to them, you create the cocaine and the drug, which is addictive. But the
Right.
plant itself is not.
No.
And
Yeah.
people have
It's
this
not.
misunderstanding.
Mhm.
Yeah. But,
I totally agree. I'm a firm believer in plant medicine.
well, I do.
And,
I am too.
you know, again, talk about compressing time. If you want to compress time and release stuff and move on and, you know, have a great life, and you need something to help get you there, I don't know anything or any type of therapy or any other type of drug that could possibly get you from point A to Z that quick. And then you come out of it and you're like, this is what
Yeah,
everybody's been talking about. Oh
you
my
get-
gosh.
you get
this is the greatest
clarity,
thing ever.
You get clarity, you learn to really trust your intuition. You can walk away and be like, I understand my intuition now. And
Yeah.
you start to see, you understand that you can understand discernment better. From our experience, I can only talk about from our experience. I guess everybody else has their own, but yeah, just like I said, if I would say, but definitely business people that are, you know, business people are always like, well, where's my next sale coming from? What's my next deal? What's my next business transaction? And if you're in that space, those people definitely should consider that, because a lot of this is when you're connected,
Blockage.
a lot of that's blockages, and a lot of it you can just attract to you versus feeling like you have to chase it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, you know, plant medicine will taught us that, you know, well, you don't really nothing to chase. It's already here. It's just, you know.
Yeah. And one of my jokes is that no man or woman should run for a political position unless they go through either mushrooms or ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
no,
understand who they really
that's
are.
not even
That
a-
is a great.
That shouldn't even be a joke. That should be an
Right.
actual legal
Requirement.
requirement. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It really should. So you
I
can,
totally agree.
should be, because you have to, otherwise
You should have to watch it to make sure they did it.
yeah. No, you're not enough. Keep going. No. That's it. There's more. That's okay. No, you should, that's right though. But if they're going to take on that responsibility, they should go to the depths of their own dark side.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And break that pattern so they can really be of service to other people.
Yeah.
You know?
But they might come out of that experience saying, you know what, I cannot go into that position because I won't be able to handle it. So
Yeah,
their
yeah.
conscience will come forward and they will have
Right.
the honesty to accept that.
Right, right.
Mhm.
I think so. I think that's I think,
That's well said.
you know, that's true. That's true. That's good. I like that. Let's campaign that one, brother.
Guys, what are your plans for the remaining of 2024?
Oh, wow.
Well, we're actually taking a little bit of vacation. We're going to Saint Martin, which is going to be great. And we are also, we're very active with ASEA, the cellular signaling technology. So we're still very, very active with that. And really putting a lot of energy and emphasis on the GnosticTV network as well. And there's a lot in the hopper. We have some incredible events coming up.
Mhm.
And we're super excited. Every day is an adventure for us.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it really is. And that's what it is. Every day's an adventure, not really, we look at it and we're gonna fly with it. We're taking the lazy river of the universe. We're just learning how to ride it. You know what I mean? And taking the direction and understanding it, trusting our intuition, our perspective of the day, and going with it. And
Go with the flow.
going with the flow. It's
Wherever
just
the universe wants to take us.
life is just better that way. You know what I mean? What's the point? What's the point of worrying about things that are out of our control for real? And I don't mean that in a way to say give up, be conscious and but like I was telling someone the other day, I was like, well, if there's this hole, is the earth flat or not flat? Well, it doesn't matter. If it's flat, what are you going to do? I mean, what can you do? Right.
It's real.
And how is absolutely going to, you know what I mean? If it is, it is. I mean, I'm not saying that to diminish anybody's view or how they take it, but again, look at it pragmatically. You still have to live.
Yes.
And so, that's it. So as far as 2024 is learning how to live continually at the best, always, every second, every moment. That's what we do.
Refining the manifestations.
Refining the manifestations, brother.
Yeah. I love the fact that you live your life fully. I love the fact that you are successful. And we're approaching the end of the interview. Any final thoughts?
Yes, I would just love, people ask me all the time, what can I do to help raise my vibration, or how can I raise my frequency? How can I expedite my manifestations? We definitely talked about gratitude. Gratitude is a massive, massive part of it. Mindset, gratitude, and start doing the little things in your life that you enjoy. It's so simplistic, and it sounds so simplistic, and it really is. Stop overcomplicating it, people.
Right.
Bring it down to the simplistic. Start doing the things in your life every single solitary day that just make you smile.
Mhm.
That will immediately start shifting your frequency and shifting your life in the direction that you want it to go.
And I would say to people, because everybody's got desires and dreams, and they got thoughts and things that they want for themselves and their family and their loved ones. And I would say, you whatever you're thinking of, and you really want to do things, you just know that you don't have to be great, okay, to start, but you have to start to be great.
Perfect.
So just start. Whatever.
Yes.
And that's how you'll know. Just start. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't wake up one day and say,
Don't over research it.
don't over research.
Start.
Just start. If your spirit keeps showing, when you keep showing up, there's a reason to do it. Go and go.
As they say in the software development, use the agile approach. Do some work, fine tune it, move forward, rebuild it, but never stop and never think that you're a failure. Just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep going. And thank you for bringing us into your world today. We really appreciate that, my brother. Very
April
nice.
J, it's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Thank you very much, and all the best to you. Thank you.
All the best to you. We'll see you next time.
And to my viewers, thank you for watching. Share it, leave a comment, visit spirituallyinspired.ca. And until next time, love and gratitude.